what you focus on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lady K Chat podcast. You are here with your favorite host, Lady K, and you already know me. I am that one that tells the truth with love and fire, but I do it from the bottom of my heart. Yes, yes, yes. So I thank you. I welcome you all month long. In the month of January, we have been talking about women in business, women in leadership. We've been talking about the structure of business. We've been talking about systems and everything's in place. But today, I have to change up the energy. Today, I will be speaking about the feminine and the masculine energy. A lot of people talk about, when you're a woman in business, you can't be yourself. You got to wear that three-piece suit and you got to go in and demand the crowd and all those other hocus pocus stuff. But today, I have two beautiful women joining me today, and we're going to be talking about this workspace energy, and then we're going to also be talking about the energy inside the home. So I would like everyone to help me welcome my two lovely guests today. I would like everyone to introduce to Miss Aleisha Hunter. She is the crypto queen. Hello, Miss Aleisha.
Hey, how are you doing, Lady K?
I am good. Thank you, Aleisha, for joining me today. Everyone's seen her face before. She is a returning guest, but this lovely young lady right here, this is her first time here. She's with KDE Enterprises. I would like everyone to help me introduce Miss Kendria James. How are you today, Kendria?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you. Listen, everybody, don't you like she Beyonce's sister? That is Beyonce's sister, y'all. I know me,
Yes.
I love to come with the jokes. I love to come with my sense of humor. And that's also part of it too. That's part of, me bringing in my energy, me feeling comfortable within myself. I think that's what it's all about in today's world, because if people have not noticed, since in this century, in this new day of time, women is thriving and driving in business. Most of the business that's an occupation right now on the CEO level, on executive level, are women in the boardroom. Women are really dominating and they're taking over, and I love it. So just to talk about the energy in the space, right? So I'm going to ask you first, Miss Aleisha, do you think a woman can operate in her femininity, when she's working in the business world?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm a living witness, and I try to educate women and also my daughters, because I have 4 daughters. And what I strongly suggest for them is to practice their femininity, because by us being in that business atmosphere, it could kind of push us automatically in that masculine energy, because we all that boss chick, and we have to stand up and we have to be demanding. We gotta somewhat be a little dominant, because if we're not, somebody will take advantage of us in the entrepreneur industry. However, when it comes to dealing with men, if you're doing like a business meeting with a group of men in a conference room, that's when you need to walk in there, ladies, with this fly nice red outfit on, smelling good. You have to smell good with your fragrance, right? And then you have to go in there with confidence. That is the type of feminine energy you need to bring in when it comes to the business industry.
Okay, I thank you for that. And what about you, Miss Kendria?
Well, I definitely agree with Miss Aleisha, because, as a woman, yes, we have roles in the homes, we have roles outside of the home. So when it comes to business, it's very important to make sure that you're establishing that relationship, because at the end of the day, it's what the relationship is that makes the business work. So I agree with 100%.
Absolutely. But I want to piggyback something, Aleisha, that you said. You said throw on that red suit, right? So, back in the days, like maybe back in the 90s, they would say, never wear red. Women had to be so particular in the colors that they wear, because, colors, they symbolize a lot of different things. So we already know in business, when it comes to branding, it's really important. But like I said, back in the 90s, red would have been like, no, don't you dare walk in here with no red. But now I see there's so many women out there dressing the colors that they feel like if they want to, and they're still dominating.
Yes, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because back then women were just portrayed, women that wore red was portrayed as, prostitutes. We already know where that was going. However, today we are learning that men love red on women. So that is the feminine side that they love. They love a woman to look nice and radiant and soft. They don't want her to come in there with like a black suit, mean looking. Come in there with a nice red outfit. Really, really, really just attract a lot of that feminine energy. And so I've done studies on that far as me wearing certain things and I go somewhere. If I wear dark colors, people may talk to me if I'm approaching them, but if I'm wearing something bright and vibrant, they're more alert. Like the shirt I have on, it's like a fuchsia hot pink shirt. I went to the front. The lady saw me. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I love the color of your shirt." And I had got the best service ever. But if I was wearing something dark, somewhat, it all depends. But if people would study colors, they will understand the different meanings of colors and how it can set the tones of the emotions, which emotions leads to energy as well. So it all links to this conversation.
Absolutely, and I agree with you 110%. Colors does matter. It does give off that vibe, but also to the woman in it. She's the one that comes in there with that energy and like, look, I am the boss. You know what I'm saying? But she doesn't have to come off too strong, but she just letting people know I'm here. I'm here to do what I need to do, and you're going to listen to me. And that's what it's all about, taking control of that room and not having people listen to what you're saying, because sometimes too, like you said, Aleisha, sometimes the man, they may not be listening, but when you go in there with confidence and you speak in a lovely tone, then you can grasp anyone's attention. I believe tone is very important. Let's talk about tone.
Tone is definitely important, the tone and the context. So whenever I'm, talking to someone about business, I always ensure that, if it's, hey, I mean, in the line of business that I do, if it's something like, okay, you're going to owe over $1,000 to the IRS, I'm not going to be like, hey, be all jolly, like, it's a good thing to come out, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if I'm doing a tax planning, with a client and, it matters, like I say, hey, maybe you have to cut back on some of these expenses, so that we can get to a certain goal, so it's all about, how you deliver that message to the person, whether you just met them or you've had a relationship with them. The tone is so important. Like at home, like my husband, he has a certain way of talking, and I understand, his style of communication. But everybody you come across, they'll have different ways of communicating, but it's just being able to, understand, their tone, how their, what their message is, because that at the end of the day is, what we're really trying to, communicate with each other about. So yeah, it's absolutely important.
On ahead. And the key thing that you said too, you said context, right? Context is very important, right? And then also too, one thing that we also learn in business too is knowing your audience, right? Because when you do know your audience, you know what type of context to say to them. So you do have to switch, when you are moving around and you're doing certain things. Well, who am I speaking to? And the person that I'm speaking to, what am I saying to them? And I have to make sure that I'm clear and precise and they understand what I'm saying, because my tone is going to set everything in place. Miss Aleisha, what's your thoughts?
I'm glad that you guys said that, because of something that I've learned that my eldest sister had mentioned to me a while back, because of, she's in the nursing industry. And, her being a brown-skinned woman, comparing herself to the European women, whenever a brown-skinned woman do something, it's different. But when it comes to European women, it's okay. So by her having that strong voice, she said the same thing that this European woman said, but she looked like a red flag, but she didn't. It was the tone of her voice. So that's when I've learned that, just like what Kendria was saying, like you have to have this certain tone in your voice, because of us as, brown skinned women, we are already labeled as that strong Black woman. And so we have to kind of tone it down a little bit extra, because if we have that same tone as the European women, we still draw that red flag, so we got to kind of tone it down a little bit more and soft and relaxed, because when it comes to our energy, a lot of people are easily intimidated, and we don't mean to be that way. We don't mean to. So that's why we have to learn to just kind of tone it down a little bit, because of it's called tone, I think it's policing or policing or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but look that up, because of it can lead to where that people can discriminate against you because of the way how you talk, because your voice could be loud and strong, or it's a little bit too soft. So yeah, I strongly advise for people to do some research on that, because that's like some good information to take a look at.
Now, you know that I'm happy you said that, because what we're talking right now is going to go hand in hand. So someone like me, right, my voice very carry, so I don't even have to say too much for people to say, whoa, okay, there goes Kalima, there goes Lady K. But here's the thing that I learned about me, and not changing for nobody. I remember for so many years, I was so conscious of, this me. And I said, you know what? God gave me my voice for a reason, and it adjusts to this tone, and it can go different various speeds and and highs and lows for a reason. But you just have to learn how to control it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being, oh my gosh, am I going to offend someone? Listen, they're going to be offended regardless. Just because of the color of your skin, you already got one thing that's going against you. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, listen, own it, feel comfortable in it, but like you said, adjust it and know where you can make a difference. And also, too, going back to what we said before, knowing your audience. When we're in a certain type of room, we can speak a certain type of way. We already know if we go into another audience, and we know we have to bring it down, and we have to control the room.
A little bit.
Exactly. And then we just, but we're still in our dominance. Yeah. So it's all about the projection. You know what I'm trying to say? I think, again, like you said, Aleisha, just because the color of our skin, we already got one strike against us. So anything we do is going to always be extra. But at the same time, too, that extra is beautiful. That's the thing about us. We can take it and we can spin it. And this is why they mock us. This is why they want to be more like us, because they love the savviness. But, again, this is all about knowing how to play that spot role. But Kendria, I'm going to get to that in a second. You said something, too. You're talking about in the home. And, when we're in a home, we have to adjust the tone a little bit different, because someone said this to me, and I have to disagree with her. She said, and I'm going to talk about this word, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate that word, but I'm going to give clarity. Submission, right? So
come on.
Word, exactly. In the word like world, we already, we covered that, right? But when we're home, and when we have a man at home, of course, we got to adjust our tone just, a little bit, because now we're home, and we're home with daddy. I don't keep real. We're home with daddy. So we feel comfortable, and he's operating in his energy. And when you go home, you're allowing him to operate in his space, in his energy. So you can feel like you're the woman of the home and he's the man of the home. Let's talk about that aspect. I know Kendria, as a married woman, I know you can give some perspective.
Well, so for me, relationships definitely are hard work, and it requires a lot of communication. So as a woman, I have responsibilities at home and also as a business owner. So when I come into my home, of course, I'm a different person. My children see, all sides of me. My family, my husband sees it as well. So, then I fit into a different dynamic, right? Where it's not just submission, because I know some people have a problem with that word. So, but we do have a sort of relationship, and not just us, but I think, in general, where there is an exchange of give and takes, because submission is like you're completely, below, right? But it's more of a transaction, I would say. And I think here is mine. I'm doing something. Can you please close my door?
I'm gonna give definition because a lot of women they frown on that word because they don't have understanding. And I thank God for my previous pastor that she sat down with me and she explained what submission is. And she said submission is the exchanging of exercising your power. That's all it is. You're just exercising your power. You as a woman, especially like say like for a woman, it's easy like if you're a single mother and you know you're so used to being mommy, daddy, everything to your children. Of course, you have to operate a certain way, but then once the husband comes into place and you feel great in your home and you chose him for a reason, you chose him because you trust him. You chose him for you know for all those different things. But now you can kind of fall back and you don't have to operate in that masculine energy because now you have a man at home, now you have that king at home, and he can take control of certain things. So of course, you know, you can say, well, I trust you. Because you're pretty much telling your spouse, I trust you enough. That's what submission is yielding to one another and exercising your power. Is no one believes nobody. Yes, the husband is the head of the house, but so many people got the definitions incorrectly.
Yeah, it's
So
a
I just had
transaction, that give and take. It's, yeah, that's what it is. So,
absolutely.
and you got to have a balance at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It just balances out because, you know, you've got to go there and, you know, put on your business hat and be that businesswoman, you know, represent your company, represent your brand. You know, then you come home, it's just getting into a different dynamic.
Right. Oh, so I did want to mention this, right? Somebody told me, she said, I notice more women who are at-home moms, they're more submissive than the working women. And I said that shouldn't be. No matter what you're doing, it shouldn't be that way. And I think the problem is because there's a big transition issue because we, ladies, I think I can speak for all of us. We're at an age where we're at that point where we might have seen our parents and our grandparents, you know, come from an age where grandma, was obedient. I'm gonna say that word obedient because, she was home with the kids and grandpa was at work, right? But now that we're here in this space, in this working world, it's different because now we have the power to go out there and be in business and work for ourselves or be with an organization. So it's like, okay, now that I'm in this space, but I don't give the man of the house no respect. What's your thought, Aleisha?
I think, like say, going back to the word submissive, to me, you guys are right. It is more like, let's just put it this way. Ladies do have more power that way because of whenever that man see that one being submissive, he is willing to do whatever he can for that woman to keep her. He may end up purchasing a house for them, get her car for her birthday or something, invest into her business and take them out on vacation, like her and the children out on vacation. He may say, hey, babe, I see you've been working hard towards the business. I see you've been working hard with the children and everything. I'm just going to take you out. I got a nice dress or something on the bed. But it all depends on what type of man that is. However, I believe women are conditioned to where that if they're submissive, they're more of their husband's slave. And that's not what that is, because I hear that a lot. I'm like, why is it that you guys see that you are a slave? That's not what that is, okay?
Right.
Even though a woman may not have a job and she's at home and working home, that's still a job, okay? So that means the husband is taking care of the bills and everything, and may give her a little bit to help her out, like get hair, nails done, for doing a great job with the house and cooking, right? So a lot of them may see it that way, and then some men may see it as, oh, she just mooching off me. So it's kind of like a give and take situation. All depends on who that person is and how they were raised. But how I was raised under my grandmother, my grandfather, and the way how they were. My grandmother, yes, she was the woman of the household. He was the man of the household, but she knew her role. He knew his role as a man, just like her as a woman. However, she was feminine Like he was masculine. Yes, she may have some little bit masculine energy. He may have some feminine because men do have some feminine and women do have some masculine energy that may exchange. However, I've seen it like swoop back around, like flip flop back around to where that now she's more feminine and he's masculine, but it was like a balance. It wasn't like this or it wasn't like this. It was balance because of she knew her role as a woman and he knew his role as a man. And I'm not saying like role of responsibility, like gender roles or anything like that. Nothing like that. It's just that she knew where she stood and he knew where he stood when it came to that. And so that's how I see, a woman being submissive. So,
No,
but
but
I'm old
I
school.
I think you made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about that transition, watching grandma and grandpa, right? And then watching us. And I honestly think it does not matter if the woman is working from home, if the woman is working in the home, or if the woman is working, outside the home, maybe running her business, that shouldn't change the dynamics of the household. So I see so many women, they feel like as if, well, I pay the bills. I'm gonna put this into perspective, right? They feel like they have a man and they are the breadwinner, then they can speak to him anywhere and they would not have no respect for him. And I'm saying that should not be. It should not be. Your energy should not be changing because you make more money than him. And I think there's a lot of women that might be acted out in that in this day of time, What's your thoughts,
You know what?
Kendria?
That's a good one.
Yeah. I think I see a lot of women do that. I don't think that should be. And I also feel like too, men that's making more than a woman and she stay at home, I don't think he should have the mindset of I make more than you, so you're just at home and and don't have the respect for her, because I also see that too. So I see a lot of brokenness in the home, and I think it's because of misconception and what people were taught. What's your
And the
thoughts,
lack of
Kendria?
respect.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I definitely agree with you, especially with, women who make more than their significant other, and talking to them any kind of way, you know what I mean? It's disrespectful either way, whether a man does it or whether women do it, but on the female side, I think, that's a lot of excuses why, Black men, they don't want Black women. You know what I mean? I know that's a
Ooh,
whole other topic,
that's a
but
whole nother topic.
We can talk
that's a whole
about
other
that one,
topic.
girl,
But
because
I
invite
mean,
me.
that's one of the excuses, you know? Right?
Right,
Yes. Let me
right.
know. I'm ready.
But
Right?
I think
Yeah.
honestly, I think there definitely needs to be like, some women schooling other women on how the relationship should look, and how, regardless who's making who's the breadwinner, whatever, where's the respect?
Mm,
That's the part. Where is the respect? Because I see there's
yeah.
a lot of disrespecting going on right now, or a lot of women, they might belittle their man. But here's the thing, right? And ladies, I'm just being real. Let's keep it 100, right? Everybody want that six-figure dude. Everybody's not getting that six-figure dude. You're not getting him. You may get that 50K dude. But if he's a 50K dude, does that mean you look down on him?
Well, look,
No.
here's the thing. We're all in different levels,
Right.
right? Different levels. So what's good for the goose might not be good for the gander,
Absolutely.
right? Because, at the end of the day, if two people find each other and they have respect and they have love, sometimes they might not have money. There might be imbalances. There'll be imbalances, no matter what it is. But it's very important to have that communication and, like you said, that respect. Because, if I was a stay-at-home mom and, as a stay-at-home mom, like if you don't have your own income, you have to ask your spouse or your partner for money. If you have your own stuff, then you won't have to do it, right?
Right. Right. And I think that's also too, there's that power struggle. I think there's a
Mm,
lot of power struggles in relationship. And I think honestly, the two of them, they have to figure it out. But at the same time too, I also think sometimes they have to go to the right person to get input on, what do you think, from this aspect, he thinks he can come home and speak to me anyway. Or he might say she doesn't respect me because I don't make the income. So, and I hear a lot of people say this too. And there's so much truth to it. They said when we had nothing, we were so happy. But once money come into place that, one is making more than the other, then it just turned the whole relationship around. So
I'm
for
glad
the
you said
people,
that.
right, for the people that's out there that's struggling with that balance, my thing to you is that I really think that you and your significant other need to really sit down and have real life conversations, because people, it's hard to have these tough conversations. Like, the elephant is in the room, and you're fussing with one another, you're not communicating with one another. And again, a lot of the stuff that people are doing, these are things that they have saw that's being passed down to them. Those generational curses we speak about, they need to be
Yes.
broken.
Yes, that is so true. Now, I do want to piggyback off of what you were saying about whenever, like say, a person is making more than the other significant other. Now, I can vouch for that because whenever I was in my marriage, and I did an interview about that, and I was telling you the difference of the person that I was with. He had a lot of money. However, he supported me financially and helped push me far as help me invest into my brand. He pushed me out there. But the person that I married, he wasn't making that much money. He was only making $700 a month. However, it led to, which is going to merge to what you were just saying. He didn't have nothing and he was happy. However, whenever his money went from $700 a month to like $3,700 a month, his whole persona changed. You see what I'm saying? But then that's when I was on bed rest and I wasn't making no income. You see? And so money can change people, which money is energy.
Yes.
And so it all depends on if that person will be the same or transition to something else. But if they transition to something else, then you know what type of person they are.
Absolutely.
So that's what I think.
Character is one of the biggest things that we have to look into. And that's why I think also too, before you go ahead and marry someone or settle down with somebody, you need to look at them in all their seasons. And when I say all their seasons, you need to see them when they're broke, when they're happy, and see how they act. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know sometimes when you get a little bit of money, you feel good about yourself, but that should not change your character. Your character should remain the same. So,
you know what? That's true, because that's the only thing that doesn't change. Money will come, but your character is who you are. What would you do in this situation, 10 years ago should be the same situation today. You know what I mean? And it's just that unchanging, trait about someone. So speaking of like, being at home and, not having, the financial resources, because I went through it as well, but do you get to a point where, you're with someone and you guys have great ideas and, you're going to get started working together to get that idea off to a start, or working in a family run business where, it's husband, wife, you're starting to teach the kids, those are things, that I think, are also important, in my everyday life, I don't know how you handle that, Aleisha.
Me, I don't know. I'm somewhat like, the same with you as well. With me, I've dealt with situations to where that I didn't have nothing. And like I said, with Kalima, she knows my story, because whenever Kalima first met me, it was like I was just transitioning myself into a different level. And that's when I realized that, well, around that time, it was 2017 to 2020, when I realized, like, oh my gosh, I'm attracting certain people because of who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because of who I am. And so whenever I've learned that and I found out who I am, that's how I can navigate of who I can keep in my life and who I should get rid of. Now, recently, Kalima, you, of course, you don't know the story. However, whenever I came over here in the Vegas area, and I haven't really been in a relationship ever since I got my divorce. My divorce finalized in 2018 is because of I'm still healing. And I had other men that came into my lives and I went out with them. However, I never liked them. I just didn't like them at all. And so that's when I said, okay, Aleisha, take a break and focus on you. So I came out here, don't know nobody, met this fantastic person. Next thing you know, it was getting to the point to where that he just love bumped me, you know, and
Wait, I'm sorry,
I'm
what
like,
he did?
he love bumped me.
He loved
Like,
bomb.
yeah, you know, just gave me flowers, gifts, took me
Oh,
out,
right, I
and next
see.
thing you know, it just stopped, and I'm like, don't
Yeah,
open up
when
the
they come
car
really
door no
hard,
more,
those are like
because
red
I'm
flags, aren't
like,
it?
yeah, because it's like you open up the car door for me, you shut it. Now I'm opening up my own door now, and I'm like, we
Right.
used to go grocery shopping. I'm running out of fruit.
Yeah.
Hello, you know, I
Yeah.
was looking at that, but at the same time, in the back of
Yes.
my head, I'm like, Aleisha, don't get caught up in that because you came this far. Back then, yes, I had the money and the resources to take care of myself, but between that drought, whenever I was going through my financial burden around that time, I've learned to just make sure I have something to back me up with because of my ex-husband. He walked out on me while I was on bed rest and I was pregnant. And that taught me a lesson as a woman to have a backup plan. So whenever I was seeing this person, and you know, I still haven't purchased a car yet, you know, because I'm actually looking for an electric car. I don't want nothing with no gasoline because gas is like $7
Yes,
a
it's
gallon here.
expensive.
Yes, and so I'm out in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere outside of Vegas, right? And he has a car, but he makes it seem like I need him. Girl, bye. Let me tell you something. I show him this, and he's a white man too, by the way. I show him this, baby. I'm a queen. I move silent like chess. I cut him off, and he ran into me at the grocery store trying to figure out how did she get there, baby. It's an app called Uber and Lyft, right? I tap it, drive,
Yes.
come pick
Yes.
me up. I'm
Yes.
in it, right?
That's
I've been
right.
doing
That's
this,
right.
and so I had to learn to take my power back because he was sucking my energy. And if I never took my power back, guess what, Kalima? February the 6th, I probably wouldn't even have my upcoming course. I wouldn't, because he would suck that energy. And then I noticed everything was about him, and F you, which was me. So I'm like, you know what? I need to take my power back and I need to do that. And then I kept thinking, I said, why is this man love bombing me? And why was he trying to breadcrumb me? I ran into this YouTube channel recommended by you. And you guys always run into that because that's how I ran into Bob Proctor, recommended by you video. So now I take advantage of it. So I'm clicking on it. It's this lady talking about why do men breadcrumb women? And she said, it's because of you breadcrumbing yourself. Whenever you succeed in life, it's okay to reward yourself, but just don't overindulge into it. It's okay to reward yourself because if you give to yourself, you're going to attract men that's going to want to give to you. So I was like, well, yeah, I have been selfish to myself. I have, because I've been working, but I have not investing into me, my body, my hair, my clothes, or none of that. So I'm just now buying myself clothes after a whole year of not purchasing anything, you know, or whatever. And so now I've noticed by me doing that, this is the type of relationship I'm attracting. I'm attracting business partners that is giving to me now. I'm attracting people that is giving and I'm receiving because now I've learned to give to myself and stop giving away from me and giving people my energy. So I had to bring that energy back to me, and now I'm attracting people that is giving. So I hope I did answer your question, Kendria, because I can't shift to a different conversation because majority of the time the spirit talks to me when I'm talking. And I promise you guys, after this conversation, I probably won't even remember this conversation.
No, it's okay because everything that you have stated, Aleisha, that's part of the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is, I tell you, it's real. It's very much real. So I'm happy you brought up those points where you was able to pinpoint what he was doing, and you took accountability of yourself. And that's another energy, accountability. There are a lot of women out there that they're not there yet. You know, sometimes they still like to say, well, you know, he was this, right? So I have to say this, right? If you was with 3 different dudes, and you say each of them have a issue, well, who's the common denominator?
You are the
darling.
problem.
You're the common denominator. Right. So you gotta ask yourself, why are you attracting that type of energy? What is that they seeing you that they're treating you that way, you know? And then also too, I don't care who you are, there's always gonna be those manipulator men, those manipulators, those gaslighters. They're always gonna try to find a way if I can love bomb this type of woman, and what's gonna be her response. They're out there, you know, and they're just seeking, they're just on a prowl, you know, but that's okay. But once you understand who they are and who you belong to, then, you know, that's not an issue no more. But ladies, I thank you so much for your expertise. I thank you so much for your input. And as we're about to close, is there anything that you would like to share with the ladies, you know, just giving off the energies that we just been speaking about? Is there anything else that you want to close with?
Well, I just want to say this was really good, and I learned, you know, a lot of good things. I actually wrote down breadcrumbing, so I'm gonna go figure out what that means.
Okay.
Right. But I just think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you have to just be true to yourself, you know, and love what you do. Because if you don't love what you do, you're gonna be miserable, you know. So, and you, like you were saying, Aleisha, you know, you're getting more because you've been giving, and it's very important to, you know, give positivity, you know, and respect, so that way whatever you give, it's gonna come back out.
Yes, that's so true. And thank you so much, Kendria. I just want to name you Kendra, so I'm so sorry if I'm getting your name wrong.
That's what immigration did to me. They changed my name, so I had to change it back. They took the I out.
I feel bad because I want to say Kendra, but I'm like, okay, Kendria. You know, so that's a pretty name. I love it. It's so unique. But I just want to tell you thank you. And what I've learned from this is, you know, just because of who we are and what industry we're in, we don't have to be that typical ghetto person as we are framed. We can practice that feminine energy and become that feminine, beautiful woman that we are on the inside. It's something that I want to suggest to the ladies. Anytime you're attracting anything and you're like confused up here and you're clouded, the first thing you want to do is disconnect yourself from everyone. Disconnect yourself from the internet or whatever the case may be, and start detoxing your body. Because if you don't detox your body, you can't attract any negative energy. So you definitely want to do that. And then also you want to start writing things down in your journal and start manifesting of what you want. Create a vision board. Because I've noticed when I create a vision board, it was in 2020. I had a virtual vision board party, and I manifested that I was moving to Vegas. I didn't even know how I was going to get here, guys, but I'm here in Vegas. So I manifested that by putting it on my vision board. So if you want to manifest to become a billionaire, write down the word, I am a billionaire. Okay. So once you do that, the next thing you want to do is try to study the law of attraction, try to utilize that, and be careful what you say as far as speaking upon your life and speaking upon others, because you can attract that. And also be careful who you are connected with. If you're not sure about that person, you're feeling some type of energy and your gut is telling you 9 out of 10, but I say 10 out of 10, your gut is telling you the truth. That is your intuition speaking to you. So you need to pay attention to that. Don't brush out like, oh, well, that person, you know, came in and did this. Stop it right there, because the devil can come in any type of shape, forms, and fashion. It can come in as a beautiful angel and just trick you because of you are being blessed. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. And also, guys, get into cryptocurrency.
Before we leave, Aleisha, you said something so profound. I just want to piggyback off real quick when you were just talking about women stop just accepting anything. I have to speak about that right there, right? When you accept anything in anyone, you're going to attract all different types of people to you. This is why it's important for you to put a stop on, what you allow, and also creating boundaries for yourself. Because if you have no boundaries, people are going to come in and they're going to devour you. I know there are some great business women out there. So in business, they are rocking, but in their personal life, it's horrible. And it's horrible because the lack of boundaries, and then how they put themselves out there. So, it's always one of the others. Always you can be booming in one area and the other one you're struggling. And guess what? It's a learning process. It's a learning process. Don't beat yourself up. But when you do come across information like this, I need you to sit back and just evaluate some things in your life. Evaluate your energy, evaluate your tone, how you speak to your family, how you speak to those who you work with. It all matters. But ladies, I thank you so much for being here today. Miss Kendria, if the audience want to get your information, they want to follow you, how can they find you?
So you can visit my website, www.kdefinancialgroup.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, KDE Financial. So if you have any tax questions, I know it's tax season right now. IRS is already accepting tax returns, and do I file now? Do I wait? There's always that question, when am I going to get my refund? So a lot of questions. You can call me 570-718-8820, because if you have a tax question, it has to be done. So hit me up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Miss Aleisha, how can the audience reach out to you if they want to get in contact with you?
Okay, so you guys can contact me on LinkedIn under Black Crypto Queen, or on Instagram at black.crypto.queen, or Facebook black.crypto.queen.
Thank you so much.
It's Black Crypto Queen, baby. That's all that
Black
is.
Crypto Queen. All right, I love it.
My black is
I'm
beautiful.
bringing it back, y'all. Look, I have a lot of great things for us ladies, and then Kendra, I would love to connect with you, because Kalima, I'm definitely gonna connect with you. However, my question is, when will the first tax check drop? Because I got students that want to take my classes, but they're waiting on their taxes, so that way I can let them know. Okay. So when would the first check drop?
So if the person is not getting any additional child tax credit or earned income credit, then it would be usually between 7 to 21 days. However, if the person's getting any type of refundable credits, like earned income credit, additional child tax credit, then the IRS will start releasing by February 28th. So that's a long time to wait. So what I definitely suggest is, if you are getting a refund on your tax return, you can take an advance. There is an advance up to $1,000 in your refund. They don't charge you anything, but it's up to $1,000 in advance, right? Or if you want to get the maximum based on your refund, then they charge you a certain amount. Right. So that pretty much will alleviate waiting for IRS, because if you file, right now, you'll have to wait until after February 28th to get your refund. We're looking into March. And it's a first come, first serve.
I'm going to interject too. So I know Kendria said, you can take up $1,000, if you don't want to pay any fees. But there are other options where you can go $2,500, until your refund comes in. And so if you have any questions, definitely you can either contact myself or Miss Kendria. We'll be glad to assist you. Absolutely. Well, again, I thank you, ladies. The information that you shared has been very valuable. Everyone, you can continue to follow me here at Lady K Chat Podcast, and you can follow me here on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. I thank you so much. Join me again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. and we will see you then. Have a good night, everyone.
Lady K.